What's going on, guys? MultiKillsHD here, as most of you guys probably already know. So today in this video I'm going to be showing you guys, after a lot of problems I've been having the last couple days with my Sony Vegas, you know, as a little bit of a backup for my personal gain and to show you guys how I render videos and, you know, my settings on Sony Vegas Pro 11 for 720p YouTube renderings. You know, I figured I would make this video to help you guys with render settings on Sony Vegas and how to make your quality look the best. And at the same time, it would kind of always be there for me to look back and say, you know, here is how I make my own videos with the settings I use in case I would ever lose them, which happened this week, and it took me about 13 hours to figure them all back out. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my settings now. Now, I want to say this. 720p quality is better on YouTube than 1080p. Unless you have 1440p, there's no need to do above 720p. 720p, my best way to explain this is, when you look at 1080p, think of it as two screens. Think of it as this screen, and let's say this box as another screen. They're put together, right? They're put together to make one 1080p screen. So it takes two different things and puts them together. 720p is just one of these screens, and that is why it has better quality typically on YouTube in 720p than 1080p. However, 720p and 1080p are pretty much the exact same. You're not going to be able to really tell them apart. So we're a minute 45 seconds in here, so let's go ahead and get into this. So right up here, I just go to this one right here and automatically hit that. So I go to HDV 720p 30 frames per second, and I go to this box and type in 720p for the height, and the width is 1280. Now the field order, I've heard of people using upper field and lower, but personally, none for the progressive scan. Easily the best choice for me. I've used this over 4, 5, 6, 7 years now. And out of all those times on my Sony Vegas is, if you do upper or lower, it just has a distortion in quality. So do none. Pixel aspect ratio, do 1. Square output 0. Frames, you want to go to 29.970 NTSC. Stereoscopic 3D mode, turn it off. Pixel format, I've used 8-bit. However, I've also seen people use 32-bit full range. I don't know about you guys, but I just like 8-bit better because, you know, it takes up a lot less render time. It takes up a lot less, you know, render space also. And honestly, I haven't been able to tell a difference myself. So, full resolution rendering quality, to put that on best. Motion blur, Gaussian, I think that's how you pronounce it. And interlace method, you want to put none because that is what you would record with if you're using Xbox or PlayStation 3 or 4 if you're using HDPV or Elgato to record. So go ahead and put that at none. Even if you don't have those two, most likely it's going to be none. Adjust source media to match better render settings. I always have that checked. It really doesn't make a difference at all, honestly. Here we go. At stereo, the only thing that you really want to change in here is you want to change resample and stretch quality to best. Other than that, you don't really want to touch anything in here. And yeah, that's the only thing you want to change in there, really. So we're now going to go up to here. If you guys are able to do this, great. If you guys can't, just bear with me and do whatever the best one you can. So when you put up this screen, this is going to show your preview quality, and it's also going to knock up your quality, you know, just that nice little touch more. So you're just going to put down the drag down bar, and you're going to go to best, and you're going to go to full. This is going to be full screen, best quality it possibly can be. So that's what I would recommend. So the next thing I want to show you guys is, before I go into the depth on that, is if you go down to options and preferences, if you go to video, this is where you want to use this. So let me explain this. Dynamic RAM preview max. I used 512 megabits. Now I want to say this, or bytes. What you want to do here is you want to use 1/4 of your RAM. So how to tell how much RAM you have? If you go to your computer you're going to see system properties over here, and it says 8 GB of RAM, right? So roughly, or what I would recommend, this is what I read all over the Sony forums, is you want to use 1/4 your RAM. So if you want to use 1/4 your RAM, I personally don't care about the speed. You want to type in 2000. If you have 16 GB of RAM, you want to type in 4000, etc. If you have 4 GB, type in 1000, and that's about what you want to use. You want to use about 25% of your RAM in here. Threads, I don't ever mess with that. Now, this is something, if you're able to do, definitely use. I want to make sure I say this, because I'm going to forget about it, and this is important. This is probably the most important thing that you're not going to find in any other tutorials on YouTube. GPU acceleration of video processing. Now let me go ahead and say this. If you have a good graphics card, use it. If you're able to. Now I have a really new graphics card, so if I would hit Advanced Micro Devices Inc., it's not going to let me use it because it hasn't been updated yet. However, if you're able to use your graphics card, you're going to see better quality, and you're also going to see better speeds with render times. If you're able to do it, use it. If you're not able to, and it distorts the video and it really makes it all choppy, turn it off. It should go ahead and fix that problem altogether. And then once you have your graphics card, just hit apply and then OK, and that's going to go ahead and do the render settings and everything. Now I want to show you just a nice little tip before I show you the final rendering projects. This is my intro. I'm just putting it down here. So whoops. Now, one more thing in here. You're going to see the quality, okay? So, one extra little thing you can do in your videos is up here you can see a little black bar, and that's from the HD PVRs. It's a known thing. So, I just go ahead and crop it in a little bit. Disappears, right? Properties, disable resample. Makes it a lot more smoother. So, that's personally what I like doing. It really helps me out a lot. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit render and just show you these properties. If it's going to render, there we go. So let's go ahead and show you. So audio is at 192 kilobytes per second, 48,000 hertz, 16-bit stereo WMA, video 29.970 frames per second, 1280 times or by 720, and it's on progressive, 5.2 megabytes per second, and pixel aspect ratio is 1000 or 1, depending on what you want to call it. Now include audio, you want to use CBR, and there you go. So the only really thing you want to do, I personally use WMV, which is Windows Media Video. So just click on this tab and use the 8 megabytes or megabits, I think it's megabytes, and you want to use the 1080p 30 frames per second video render. Even if you're rendering in 720p, it's still gonna make your video a lot more smoother, so I would recommend doing that. The only thing you gotta really change from my understanding in here is change the speed, and this one's 1440 by 1080p, so just switch that to 1280 by 720. And there you guys go. Best render settings probably on YouTube. And, you know, honestly, I hope this helps you guys a lot. This is going to help me out in the future if I forget my settings. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys could, make sure to leave a like rating. My name, of course, is MultiKillsHD. And I'm out. Peace.